Awesome. I'm Tessa Smith with Mama's Geeky. Thank you so much, William, for taking the time today.
It's my pleasure. How you doing?
So good. You're so good in this. And I'd love to know like how you channeled this like such a perfect villain. Like you're so good.
This is me when I walk the dog every day. This is me. I am Delrain. No. Long story short, it's all the script. The first time that I read the script, I mean, it's such a fascinating read. You never get ahead of the story. And I just kept wondering because I had an idea of keeping an eye on a certain character because that's what they were asking me to look at. And I just had such a fun the very first time I read it because I'm like, who is this guy? And as I've said a million times in my life, good scripts get better as you read them. And the more you read them, the deeper you go. And it just tells you more about the guy and the character. And so, by the time, we got around to shooting it, I had the script for about a month. And and then I talked to Robert a few times. So I really had a sense of, or at least I never know, you get ideas and you're like, I'm going to go with this. And whatever's on the screen is what we were all thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give like spoilers away, but I feel like there could be more from this character. Would you ever return to this character?
Well, it wasn't lost on me what happens at the end. Um, and I was like, huh, okay, so now you pray for success. Listen, you have to have a successful film the first time around for them to make a second one. So I'm really praying that wouldn't that be just great? Wouldn't that be great? It'd be great to work with Alicia and Ben again. It'd be really great to work with Robert again, which was one of my, and I don't say this lightly, one of my life highlights as far as working with a director.
Yeah, he's great. And like he's really good at especially with like action sequences. So can you talk about filming those action sequences? Did you do all your own stunts?
Um, well, except for the, I don't want to give any, yeah, except for the one like little plunge. No, when you get to stuff like that, I'm like, is there a stunt guy here? So but I didn't have a tremendous amount of stunts to do in the film, but there were other things, especially the bank sequence, and we were shooting that on the street. A lot of that was just filmed, and that's live action. They were shooting that, stunt people doing things, boom, boom, and it was that was a 2 or 3 exciting days out on the streets in downtown Austin.
Oh, I'm sure. And final question, if you had that ability, let's say, to convince people to do things, do you think you would ever use it?
Yes, I would. At 100%. Yep, I would have the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. I would hypnotic everybody. I'd hypnotic the entire world to root for them, and then I'd hypnotic that they won 98-0. Outside of that, no, I would never touch it, but I would do that.
Oh, well, I just moved to LA from upstate New York, so I'm with you on the Bills. So
where'd you come from upstate?
Oswego, so like near Syracuse, kind of.
God. I'm in Syracuse tomorrow.
What?
I'm in Syracuse tomorrow. I met my wife when she was a student at SU, and now we have our younger one is a junior there.
Oh, awesome. It is a great place, especially this time of year. It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, you're phenomenal. Congratulations on the movie.
Thank you, Tessa. Pleasure to meet you.
So nice. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. This movie is so twisted and insane and kept me like on the edge of my seat the entire time. I'd love to know, is that what drew you to the film? What made you want to be a part of it?
Well, I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan. I've always admired him as a director, mostly because of the way that he challenged filmmaking with El Mariachi by doing everything and being an advocate for independent filmmaking, and just like grab a camera and tell your story. Don't stop yourself from telling your story that you want to tell just because, oh, you don't have the budget to the film or that. It's such a wonderful thing that he's a filmmaker that has that energy of like being an advocate for people telling their stories. So I always admire him from afar. he produced a film that was in Predators a long time ago, but I've never worked as an actress of his film. So when he sent me this script saying that it was a long time in the making, like he's been working on that script for a long time, for many years, but he hasn't done yet. I was very curious because I know when Robert, he has an idea, he really puts his heart in it. And by reading the script, I was like, oh my God, like that's a lot of twists and turns and how the hell is going to do that? So I think it was a challenge for, as an actress to read it and kind of imagine what he would tell and how he would do it. So that's what, it was a long answer just to say that I would love to work with Robert, but I think like there were different elements like the script and working with him and the curiosity of knowing what he would do with that script. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had that power, right, that ability, do you think you would ever use it for anything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm afraid of flying. So we'll definitely hypnose myself to like forget or ask someone to hypnose myself to not be afraid of flying. But then I'm an activist for the climate. So I would start doing, hypnosis to change some people's mind about climate crisis and make some environmental changes in the world so we can have a better future.
I love it. So you'd use it for good. You'd use your power
Yeah,
for good.
I would use for the greater good, not just for myself, but for everybody. I mean, the airplane would be just for myself, but the rest of it.
What was it like working so closely with Ben? Like, I love you two on screen together in this movie.
Thank you. It was a joy because he is a wonderful actor. And apart from being a wonderful actor, he is a brilliant writer and a wonderful director. So having so much knowledge of filmmaking, having so much knowledge of what is to work and what it takes to make a film when you're with an actor like that is wonderful because you learn so much. It's so inspiring, and seeing him and Robert as well exchanging ideas, thoughts on a shot, on a scene or something, it was really special.
Awesome. Well, that's my time. Thank you so much. I'm going to say I loved you in the New Mutants as well. That's
Oh,
one of my favorite
thank you
Marvel
so much.
films.
I can see the Marvel
Yes.
thing.
I'm a big
Yeah,
fan.
that's
so,
very kind.
yes.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. So nice to meet you. Thank you, Robert, so much for taking the time.
Sure, hi.
Oh my gosh, this movie, I mean, I love all your work, but this movie, this one is so twisted and insane, and I had no idea what was going on. I kept thinking I knew, and I had no clue. So, like, where did this concept come from?
Yeah, it came a long time ago. It didn't need to be so long ago, but it was brought on by, I was watching Vertigo, which had just been rediscovered, restored, released on DVD. I was always a Hitchcock fan. I'd made Mariachi was kind of a Hitchcock type movie. It was one of his Wrong Man, Mistaken Identity movies. I always liked how economical his stuff were. There's a lot of $2 camera tricks and edits that he would do to make his visuals come to life. And so when I saw Vertigo, I thought, gosh, here's another one with a major star that has a lot of twists and turns and that has a really compelling one-word title. Vertigo, Psycho, Spellbound, Frenzy. If he kept making movies for another 10 years, what's another title he would have come up? Hypnotic, popped in my head. So, okay, but what does that mean? I don't want to make a movie about hypnosis. Sounds cool. Maybe it's somebody with ability beyond that. You don't know what their ability even is because it keeps growing as the movie goes on until the very last frame. You don't realize they're that powerful. That could be fun. And also the element that it's more and more, the reason I kept coming back to it is because it reminded me of what we do as storytellers and as filmmakers. We create a hypnotic construct for an audience whenever we make a movie. They buy a ticket for it. They come and sit. They know it's an actor. They know it's script, but they believe it. If you do it well enough, they believe it so much they cry or laugh or invested emotionally, tell their friends to go see it. They may even love the characters so much those characters are more real to them than their own family members. It's like they just like Baby Yoda, whatever. They just so invested in him. They just, I just thought, let's do that without making a movie about filmmaking. I get to do that in this film, pull the layers back to where it's very meta, but the audience is now watching a movie with Ben going, oh, I've just been in a construct along with this character. I didn't even know it because I was just believing what I was seeing.
Exactly.
He's so good that I believe what he was telling me.
If you were like a hypnotic though, do you think you would use that power in real life? Would you ever use it?
I would use it. the question is, would I use it for good or would I use it? I mean, that was the whole idea. That's when I thought of the title. I said, what does it mean? I thought, oh, it's someone who can't be caught. It's somebody that, you know, you and I could be talking and I could say, hey, can I give you the keys to your car and your bank accounts and everything? And you drive off and you never remember meeting me. I thought that's a great villain. That's just there's probably a bunch of these that exist at the 2% level that you just never meet, you'll never catch, you'll never know they even did anything because they just live on top of the world. So I thought that would be a really cool story to make about people like that.
Yeah, and without spoilers, it feels like there could be another one. Do you have
Yeah,
plans of another one? Other thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know if people would stick around long enough to see the little
Oh,
end.
absolutely.
So yeah, I would love to. Hopefully, I hope I didn't put it too far into the credits that people aren't already out of the theater when they see it. But yeah, I would love to do another one.
Well, listen, I'm going to put it in my reviews. Make sure you stay.
Sure you
So
stay there. That'd be great. Yeah.
yes. And listen, an Alita 2 would be great also. So
I
like,
love that too. We're always talking about that. We would love for that to happen. So I'm more
awesome.
appreciative of everybody who, you know, carries the torch for that one because we definitely want to make one.
Yes, my kids and I are obsessed. So please.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Robert.
Thanks, Tessa.
Thank you.